Welcome to Empowered Yoga Detox Flow. My name is Michelle Theoret, and I will be guiding you through this sequence today full of twists, a little bit of abdominal compression via forward folds, and some back bends. Today will be a fairly fast-paced, vigorous, and invigorating flow designed to increase the internal temperature of the body to help facilitate detoxification. Come to a comfortable seated position and close your eyes. With the eyes closed as best you can, align the back of the head over the back of the pelvis, taking the center of the earlobe right over the center of your shoulders. Bring your awareness to your breath. See if you can observe your breath, the organic flow into and out of your body without altering it. You may notice that just through the simple observation of the breath, it may naturally change on its own. Notice how the body expands with every inhale. See if you can deepen the inhale, filling the chest, the rib cage like an accordion, and even soften and fill down into the low belly. And as you exhale, empty the low belly. Allow the rib cage to collapse slightly and draw in, the chest to empty. Continue to breathe deeply in this manner, creating as much movement as you can from the diaphragm muscle like a balloon inside the rib cage. This style of deep diaphragmatic breathing stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest cycle in the body. This system naturally helps our body increase detoxification, which is done primarily via the liver and the large intestine. However, in this class, we will also be looking to facilitate more of the detoxification of the emotional and mental body as well, the issues that get lodged in our tissues. So as best you can, staying really aligned with the feeling self. Notice as you start to turn your gaze inwards, your awareness inwards, how the sensations in the body get a little bit louder. Our job today is to stay engaged in the deep, deliberate ujjayi breathing that we will come to in a moment. As we stay engaged in this deep, deliberate breathing, it allows us to stay really open and receptive. We turn our ears inside of our body so that we can interpret the sensations as they arise in the moment and make intelligent decisions on where we should go in each of the postures, where we should go in our body based on the feedback our body is giving us. Begin to deepen both your inhalation and your exhalation, coming into your ujjayi breathing. A slight constriction in the back of the throat. And then whenever you're ready, bring your hands to your heart center, actively pressing the palms together and tucking the chin slightly, as if to turn your thinking self into your feeling self. And setting an intention for the class today, knowing that our theme is detoxification, and a large part of detoxification is getting rid of that stuff that is no longer serving you and therefore sucking your vitality. What can you get rid of? Slowly on your inhale, extend your fingertips down to the floor and draw your shoulder blades down your back. Think of lengthening the crown of the head upwards towards the ceiling as you actively press your fingertips down and into the floor. Lengthen the spine, take an inhale here, and as you exhale, take your right ear over to your right shoulder. Be mindful to keep the shoulder blades drawing down the back, as the tendency will be for the right shoulder to lift to the right ear. If you'd like, stretch the left fingertips in the opposite direction, or if you'd like more of a stretch, you can bring the right hand to the outside of the right ear. Maybe close the eyes here, play around with the positioning of the hand. And again, find a position that allows you to feel the sensation of stretching in the left side of the neck. and send your breath there. Keep your right ear to your right shoulder. Take a great big inhale. Stretch your left arm up over your head, pressing actively into the left sitting bone. As you exhale, reach over to the right, creating a stretch now through the left side seam. Starting off with a nice gentle warm-up today. Whenever you're ready, slowly on the inhale, come up, bringing the left hand to the floor. Exhale, slide your shoulders down your back, widen through the collarbones. And this time taking your left ear over to your left shoulder. Crawl the right fingertips away. Maybe this is enough of a stretch for you. Or if you'd like, inhale, reach the left hand up, and exhale, bring the left hand to the outside of your right ear. Again, if you'd like, you can lift the right hand, turn the palm up, turn the palm down, or maybe even wrap the right hand behind the back. Keep the left ear soft to the left shoulder. Inhale, stretch the right hand high, moving into the side body. Exhale over to the left. Firmly root down through the right sitting bone. And again, feeling the stretching sensation this time through the right side seam. Trying to get as much mobility through the axial skeleton, the core, as possible. Taking a nice gentle twist, take the left hand in front of the pelvis or maybe onto the right knee as you gently crawl your right fingertips behind your back. Sit up nice and tall with the inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. And on the exhale, pull up on the low belly to twist deeper. Release, inhale, sit up nice and tall, press the fingertips down. This will help elevate the spine. And then as you exhale, come into the twist on the other side. Taking the right hand to the left knee as you crawl the right fingertips behind you. Not going too deep, just creating some mobility through the midline of the body. This is really important for detoxification. The midline of the body tends to get really gunked up as our posture collapses and our breathing gets really restricted and shallow. Slowly coming up onto the hands and knees into a tabletop position and pressing the hips back towards the heels as you crawl the fingertips forward. Allow your entire chest to lie down onto the thighs, and if possible, relax your forehead onto a block or onto the floor. Let the head be supported, completely relax. Deepen the breath, and as you inhale, feel your belly fill full onto the thighs. Exhale, pull your low belly up off your thighs. Working back into the side body on your inhale, crawl your hands as far over to the left as you can, stretching the right side body. And as you exhale, gently sink down into the floor. See if with every inhale you can really fill into the lateral right rib cage. Feel the belly onto the thigh, and then on the exhale, pull the low belly up and in, and maybe stretch a little bit further. If you'd like more intensity, come halfway up. Inhale, stretch your right hand. Exhale, bend the right elbow, bringing it to the outside of the left knee, working as much of the right armpit into the outer left thigh as possible. From here, you can stretch the left hand over your head, maybe actively pushing the fingertips down into the floor and thinking of bending the left elbow, lifting it up towards the ceiling as you continue to twist into the side body. Make sure you can still breathe fully. Slowly release, this time walking your hands as far to the right as you can, stretching into the left body. And allow your forehead to relax. If you feel this is bothersome for the front of the hips or you feel binding, you can bring the hips a little bit higher over the knees and either have a rolled up blanket or a block underneath the sitting bones. Breathing now into the left rib cage. With every inhale, visualize the tissues, the muscles in between the ribs and connective tissues expanding, opening, stretching. And as you exhale, softening and moving deeper. If you feel like the side body is released at all, you can take a great big inhale. Again, extend the left fingertips out. And as you exhale, twist the left armpit across to the outside of the right knee. This will give you a better visual on this side. You can put a block underneath the head And maybe stretching the opposite arm over your head, crawling the fingertips along the floor. The goal here is to maintain that deep, deliberate breath, getting as much movement out of the belly and the rib cage as possible. So if you feel like you've come too deep, that compresses the breath, then maybe back off just a little bit. Come back to the center and find child's pose again to release. On the inhale, when you're ready, crawl back up onto the hands and knees. And as you exhale, send your left leg straight back behind you and reach your right fingertips forward. Pull the low belly up and in. Turn all 5 of the left toes down to the floor and then create length or traction along the spine on the inhale. On the exhales, firm up the midline of the body. Maybe lift the shoulder and the leg higher and then release. Switching sides, inhale, extend the right leg straight back, and exhale, reach the left fingertips forward. Keep actively pushing down through the right palm and imagine externally rotating through the right elbow. The tendency here is to collapse. Keep pushing actively down into the floor. Scoop the low belly up away from the ground and reach and extend through the fingertips. And release. Moving through some cat-cow, take a great big inhale, arching the back, looking up. Avoid pinching the shoulder blades together. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, pull the low belly up and in as you draw the pelvis to the face to the pelvis. The inhale, reversing that curvature, looking up between the eyebrows. And exhale, actively push down into the palms. The shoulder blades roll into the armpits. Inhale, keeping the low belly just a little bit firm, look up. And then as you exhale, press down into the palms. Reverse. Continue to move with your breath. Inhale, expanding the front body, looking up. Exhale, contracting the front body, compressing through the abdominal viscera as you round. Finally, keep pushing, keep rounding. Press down into the palms so the shoulder blades move into the armpits and step your feet back. Imagine an angry Halloween cat. See if you can keep some of the rounding through the upper thorax here. And then at the same time, imagine sliding the hands apart. As you look up, slowly bend the elbows to lower all the way down onto the floor. Flatten your feet, pinky toes down into the floor, inner thighs zip up. Press the palms under the shoulders and then inhale, come up into just a gentle cobra. And exhale, come back down. Again, inhale, coming up into a gentle cobra. Bring your hands to hover off the ground so we can activate the low back muscles. And then gently put the hands back down. Now engage the backs of the arms and the mid-trap muscles to lift higher. And exhale, come down. Inhale, press into the palms, engage the back, lift the hands. Exhale, push the palms firm, low belly up and in, squeeze the back body, lift up a little bit higher. Take the elbows, draw them in and down in towards the hip bones. Take the pubic bone, push it into the floor, and then exhale, come down. Tuck your toes under, pull the low belly firmly off the floor, palms underneath the elbows, draw the elbows back. Inhale, come up into chaturanga, exhale. And then inhale, pulling the hips through towards the wrists for upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. If you find upward facing dog brings any strain into the back, then you may want to stick with Cobra for all of the vinyasas. Lowering yourself down through that low push-up position, maintaining strength, and then lowering down onto the belly and finding Cobra. Take another couple breaths here in your downward facing dog. And then slowly on the inhale, crawling the hands back towards your feet so you're in a passive forward fold position at the back of the mat. Bending the knees so you can get the entire torso hanging out on the fronts of the thighs, so we're creating that little bit of a compression. Maybe grabbing opposite elbow with opposite hand so you can allow the top of the head to dangle heavy. Gravity compresses us and pushes us down all day, so this is an anti-gravity stretch. creating decompression through your entire spine. Keep the low belly a little firm, bring the fingertips onto the floor, and on your inhale, come to a halfway lift position. And as you exhale, crawl yourself back into downward facing dog. And everybody's downward facing dog will look a little bit different. Come high onto the toes, bend your knees, look to your hands, and on your inhale, step or float the feet to the top of the mat. Again, halfway lift. And as you exhale, fold yourself in half, tuck the chin. With straight or bent legs, inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bring the hands to the heart center and exhale. Warming up the body with sun salutes. Inhale, stretch your hands high. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Tuck your chin. On the inhale, come through halfway lift, hands to the floor or shins. And then as you exhale, step one foot and the other back to a plank position. Press down into the floor on the inhale. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows, move forward as you lower. Inhale through your Cobra or your upward facing dog. And exhale, pressing back through downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, actively press the palms down and into the floor. Take the elbows, slightly draw them underneath your body as you slide the shoulder blades down your back. Lift your gaze, inhale, come high onto the toes, bend the knees. And then as you exhale, bring the hips high to step or float the feet forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Ground down through the floor. Inhale, stand up nice and strong, reach up. Exhale, reset at the top of the mat. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, fold forward over the legs, bend the knees if you need to. Relax the head. Inhale, set the core, look up. Exhale, maintain the strength of the core as you step back. Pause here, inhale, push into the floor. Exhale, imagine wiping the hands apart, bend the elbows as you lower. Elbows back, inhale, upward dog or Cobra. And then exhale, rolling over the toes into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, actively pressing the chest through to the thighs. With the inhale, expand the rib cage like the accordion, soft low belly. And on your exhales, firm up the low belly. Gaze to the thumbs, inhale high onto the toes, bend the knees, lift the hips. And exhale, step or float the feet forward. Gazing, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding, softening. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, stretch the spine. And exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale, reach the hands up, stretch the front body. Exhale, fold forward, stretching the back body, compressing the front body. Inhale, extend the front body, look up. Exhale, strong core, step back. Lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog or Cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Drawing back into the feeling self. With every inhale, ask yourself, where can I create some space or length in the body, which implies strength? And exhale, where can I soften? Whenever you're ready, floating to the top of the mat or stepping. Inhale through halfway lift and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, ground down through the feet, reach the hands high. And exhale, take the hands through the heart center. Release. Moving through another warm-up sequence. Inhale, stretch the hands high, look up. Exhale, slowly fold forward over the legs, tuck the chin. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look up. Exhale, step the right leg back. Drop down to the right knee. Find 90 degrees at the knees. Inhale, coming up into a lunge position. The tendency is to really overextend through the low back here. Take the left forearm down to the left thigh, and as you exhale, hinge slightly to the left, stretching the front of the right hip.
There's something happening here.
Bring the hands back to the heart center. Exhale, hover your back right knee off the floor. Pull the low belly up and in, and then twist from the center line, maybe extending the left fingertips to the back wall, the right fingertips to the front wall. Again, lengthening through the spine. From here, maintain the core twist. Bring the right hand down to the floor, the left fingertips twist open. Plant the palms, inhale, push into the palms, shoulder blades into the armpits, plank position. Exhale, roll onto the outside edge of your right foot. Press down and away through the left palm. Option to bring the left knee on the floor for side arm balance. See how high you can lift the hips up. The tendency here is to collapse. Keep pushing down through the outer edge of the foot, down into the left palm. Lift the left hip high. Option to stretch the right fingertips over your head. Inhale, look to the floor. Step the right foot in front of the left foot back into plank position. Set your core. Hold the low belly in, and then whenever you're ready, drop down to the right forearm, followed by the left forearm for a forearm plank. Again, draw the shoulder blades away from one another into the front ribs, engaging the serratus anterior muscle. Soften the space between the shoulders, pull up through the low belly, squeeze the buttocks. Come high onto the toes. Breathe. Maintaining that position on the inhale, come back onto the palms, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, floating the left leg high. Exhale, bring the left knee to your left tricep, rounding your back. So think cat-cow here. Inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, draw the left knee in, drop the forehead, pull the knee into the chest. I call this dancing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, knee comes all the way in, maybe twisting to the opposite armpit this time. Hold. Those of you who want, extend that left leg out in front of you, maybe grabbing the left foot with the right hand. Or option to stay in the twist, or the original first movement, just knee to chest. This time, exhale, lunge your left foot through your thumbs, stay high onto the ball of the right foot. Exhale, bring your arms out like airplane wings, or option to stretch the fingertips forward. Firm up the low belly, mildly tucking the tail down. Ground down through the left foot, and whenever you're ready, lift the right heel up off the floor. For Warrior 3. Maintain the core support. Whenever you're ready, bring the hands down onto the floor for standing splits. Either maintain standing splits, or those of you that want to, drawing the left knee into the chest, reach the right heel high, and maybe, just maybe, hovering the left foot up off the floor. Exhale, everybody together, fold forward, so we all end up in the same place. Inhale, stand up strong, reach up. Exhale, reset at the top of the mat. Other side, inhale, arms stretch high. Exhale, fold forward, tuck the chin. Inhale, halfway lift, set the core. Exhale, step back with the left leg this time. Drop down to the left knee. Inhale, bring the hands high. So maybe don't come as deep into the lunge. Find the core strength, lift up out of the waistline, inhale. And as you exhale, bring the right forearm to the right thigh and gently reach over to the right, stretching into the left psoas just a little. Inhale, come back to the center, both hands go up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and lift the back left knee to hover off the floor. Either stay here, or if you can, twist. Eventually reaching your left fingertips back, your right fingertips forward. Inhale, take the left hand to the floor. Exhale, twist the right hand high for twisted lunge. Inhale, bring the right hand onto the floor, plant the palms, and exhale, step back, strong plank. If you need to, put the right knee down on the floor. Otherwise, inhale whenever you're ready, sliding the left foot over to the right foot. Actively press down through the right palm. Reaching the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Lift the hips. Turning the left palm down over your face to stretch through the entire left side body. Keep the right side body active. Inhale, right foot steps in front of the left foot. Come into a plank position. Strong shoulders. Exhale, slowly drop down to the forearms. Just like we did in the seated position, see if you can line the back of the head with the back of the pelvis. Hold the low belly firm, but make sure you're still breathing. And then keep that locked in. Inhale back to plank and exhale downward facing dog. Take a breath. Inhale, when you're ready, lift the right leg high. Exhale, bring the right knee into the chest without putting the foot down. Hold. Inhale, extend the right leg high. Either stay there or exhale, bring the knee through, maybe touching the right tricep. Inhale, either of those two options work, or exhale, bring the knee through, maybe twisting it towards the opposite armpit. Inhale, bringing the leg high. Exhale, lunging the right leg all the way through. Come high onto the ball of the left foot. And exhale, find power lunge, either airplane wings or arms straight over your head. Whenever you're ready, think of shifting the weight forward into the right foot till the left foot becomes light on the floor, enough to lift it up off the floor. Slowly as you can, exhale, both hands down on either side of the right foot for standing splits. Stay here, dropping the head. Or for those of you that want to, inhale, crawl the palms forward, and exhale, come high onto the ball of the right foot. As you reach the left heel high, you're actually drawing the right leg in towards your chest, maybe pressing up. Wherever you are, we'll hold for one more breath, and finally coming down into a forward fold at the top of the mat. When you're ready, inhale, stand up, stretch the hands high, and exhale, reset at the top of the mat. Round down through your feet. Standing tall, inhale, reach the hands nice and high, clasping the palms, index out. And as you exhale, bend at the elbows, and as best you can, again, work the back of the head over the back of the pelvis. Straighten the arms, stretch, inhale. As you exhale, over to the left for Chandrasana or side stretch. Without shifting the weight in the feet, so still actively grounding down through the soles of the feet. Inhale, lengthen through the side body. And exhale, maybe if possible, reach a little further. And inhale, reach up, lengthen up. And as you exhale, over to the right this time. Move the left hip to the left. Inhale, lengthen, create space, which actually implies just as much strength as it does relaxation. And as you exhale, over to the right. Slowly on the inhale, come back up to standing, and as you exhale, take your hands to your heart center. Reset at the top of the mat. Bending the knees, inhale. And as you exhale, sink the hips, inhale, arms go high. Utkatasana, chair pose. In this version of chair pose, we're going to try to squat down as deep as we can, which might mean you have to stick your tail out just a little bit. But we're also going to find a little back bend in it, which means tuck the tail slightly and lift the chest. From here, drop the nipples towards the knees, stretch the spine, interlace the fingers, palms go out, stretch the wrists, working now more parallel to the floor. Whenever you're ready, bring the palms down to the floor, open the knees for garland pose. Either stay in garland pose, working a nice deep squat here, or those of you who are comfortable with it, plant the palms on the floor. Squeeze the knees onto the backs of the arms as you lift your heels up for Bakasana. As you squeeze the knees onto the backs of the arms, you also want to imagine wiping the hands apart and pushing down into the floor so you stay strong through the shoulders. Whenever you're ready, we'll all meet in the same place, which is the forward fold. Inhale, come through the halfway lift position. And as you exhale, squat down. Find your sitting bones on the floor, knees into your chest. Navasana sequence, boat pose. Balancing on the sitting bones, whenever you're ready, reach the fingertips forward and maybe option to stretch both legs straight. Inner thighs squeeze together into the wall in front of you. Reach through the fingers, reach through the toes. When you exhale, grab the backs of the knees, tuck the chin into the chest, and round down into Ardha Navasana. Either keep holding the backs of the legs or let go of the legs, but keep reaching. Make sure you're still breathing. Inhale, draw the knees into the chest, rock yourself back up for Navasana. Either holding the legs or releasing, straighten the legs, hold here. And then again on the exhale, we'll transition into Ardha Navasana, half boat, roll round down. If you feel strain at all in your back, pull the low belly in more and maybe don't lower your heels as much. You can also support the head with the hands. Great big inhale, exhale back up to Navasana, hold. At any time you need to, you can take a rest. Notice where you're unnecessarily transferring tension in your body, so your face, your teeth, your jaw. Again, exhale as slowly as you can, roll back down, half boat. Bend the knees if you need to. Finally, everybody together, inhale, bend the knees, bring them into the chest, and exhale, relax your head onto the floor. Maybe rocking softly from side to side on the back. Okay, exhale, round your forehead to your knees. Stretch your right leg out in front of you and bring your left knee as close to your forehead as you can for shooting arrow. The lower you bring the right heel to the floor, the harder the core has to work, so be mindful of that. Now inhale, stretch your right hand way back, and then as you exhale, twist as much of your right armpit across your left knee as you can. So we've seen this before in the twists and also in Dancing Dog. If you can, flatten your palms towards the side wall and push. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, straighten your left leg and draw the left leg actively towards the face as you push the head, neck, and shoulders onto the floor. Alternating like scissors. Keep the pelvis in a neutral position with strong exhales. We'll alternate the legs. Just a few more. Keep the breath deep and full. Inhale, bend the knees into the chest. And exhale, bring the forehead to the knees. Inhale, this time stretch the left leg out in front of you. And exhale, curl the right knee to the forehead. Option to release the legs, stretch the fingertips out in front of you. Inhale, stretch the left arm back. And then exhale, twist as much of the left side body. See how I'm grabbing the outer right thigh here? Stretch as much of the left side body across the right knee as possible. If you'd like, separate the palms and push. This is Ekapada Kundanyasana, except on your back. Stay strong through the core. It's a big twist. Whenever you're ready, head, neck, and shoulders on the floor. Stretch both legs straight, and we'll come into scissors. The goal here in scissors is to keep the back of the pelvis into the floor, the transverse abdominals engaged, the backs of the ribs are glued down to the floor, and the neck is in a neutral position as you take your legs through their fullest range of motion. Beautiful. Knees back into the chest, and then both legs straight. Bring the hands alongside your body, palms pressing down, and we'll work on pelvic peel. So as you exhale, imagine somebody pulling you up by the toes, peeling as much of your pelvis off the floor as possible. And we're not thrusting here, and if you don't get a lot of movement, that's okay. You can see how my shoulders are lifting a little bit. Ideally, we keep the backs of the shoulders down onto the floor as much as we can, isolating that core. This time, leave the pelvic peeled up off the floor and take a great big inhale, reach towards your toes. And then as you exhale, hand over hand, imagine you're climbing a rope. Keep climbing, peeling one shoulder and then the other up off the floor. Keep the inner thighs squeezing, the toes reaching towards the ceiling, and the pelvic peeled. Good, and exhale, release. Bring the head, neck, and shoulders onto the floor. Bringing your arms out like a T, palms face down. Actively push the shoulders and the rib cage down into the floor. Now as you exhale, twist your knees over to the left. So we're not concerned with how far across the body the knees go. We're more concerned with pushing the shoulder and the rib cage down. If you want more, you can stretch the legs straight. Keep the inner thighs squeezing together, so some of you might find it's helpful to cross the legs. We'll hold here, and then inhale, come back to the center, and exhale, twisting over to the other side. Again, depth doesn't matter. You want to push the opposite shoulder and rib cage down into the floor. I like to do these sometimes holding for 1 minute timings. Imagine the hips moving one way, the rib cage the other. So this creates that coil or a twisting effect through the midline, strengthening the internal and external obliques and facilitating that nice wringing out effect. Inhale, bring the knees back to the center. And then exhale, forehead to knees, fingertips towards the front of the room. Inhale, and then exhale, stretch arms one way, toes the other. Again, as much of the backs of your ribs and the pelvis on the floor as possible. Exhale, stretch out. Only lower your heels as much as you can. Keep the low back stable. Coming in, exhale, stretch out. Inhale, hold here. Exhale, crunch, forehead to knee to forehead. Inhale, exhale, stretch. Inhale, exhale, crunch. Again, inhale, exhale, stretch. Inhale, exhale, crunch. Last one, inhale, exhale, stretch. This time, if you can, up to Navasana, exhale, rock. Hold here. Squeeze the inner thighs. Last boat pose, I believe. Beautiful. Cross the ankles, press the palms onto the floor, rounding the back. I'm just going to show you a little bit of a float through. Coming high onto the toes, bringing the knees into the chest and pressing up. I'm showing you the mechanics here of jumping back, floating, and pressing into handstands. Alternately, you can stay seated, rounding your forehead to your knees, and then whenever you're ready, straighten the legs, forward fold, and meet us at the top of the mat. Inhale, come up to standing, and exhale, reset at the top of the mat. Inhale, reach the hands high. Exhale, fold forward, moving through vinyasa. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, plank position, lower down. Inhale through upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Finding your breath here. Observing how you feel. We'll move into the standing sequence. Taking an inhale, lift the left leg nice and high, and as you exhale, either lunge the left foot through or switch hop the left foot through your hands. Squaring the back right foot with the back edge of the mat, coming up into Warrior Two. In Warrior Two, the left knee is drawing down the center of the left foot. The hips as best you can square with the long edge of the mat. The next exhale, taking your left forearm to your left thigh or left hand to the floor and the outside of the left foot for extended side angle. Keep actively pushing into the outside edge of the right foot and imagine lifting the right hip and the right knee away from the mat. Stay strong through the core. Inhale, coming back up into Warrior Two. As you exhale, taking the right hand down the back of the right leg. Left hand stretches behind you for reverse warrior. Inhale, actively gas pedal the left foot into the floor, straighten the left leg. And as you exhale, reach forward through the left fingertips, hinging at the hips for a triangle pose. Left hand to the left shin, foot, or floor. Right hand stretches high. Lengthen the crown of the head to the top of the mat. And think of twisting open through the rib cage. Look down to the floor. Inhale, soften the left knee. Exhale, plant the left hand about a foot in front of the left foot for Ardha Chandrasana. The right hip is square, lifting the right heel high. If possible, again, extend the right fingertips to the ceiling. Stay active through the low belly. Ground down through the big toe side of your left foot. Inhale, look to the floor. Exhale, right hand comes down. Step the right foot behind the left foot for an IT band stretch. Squeezing the inner thighs together, move the left hip up and back as you gently rinse through the side body. Inhale, halfway lift, and as you exhale, step the right foot back. Square the hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bring the right hand to the left shin, foot, or floor for a revolved triangle. The left palm can stay to the small of the back. Alternately, you can extend the left fingertips up. Work to square the hips. Squeeze the inner thighs, ground down through the feet. Inhale, bring the hands to the floor on either side of the left foot, and exhale, step foot to foot. Forward fold. Inhale, squat down. Bring the hands to heart center for chair. Exhale, stretch the right hand high and twist the right elbow over the left thigh. Either bring the left palm to the small of the back, or alternately you can stretch the right fingertips to the floor and the left hand nice and high. Either stay here, or I'll show you a variation called Parsvabhakasana. Bring the knees as high up into that left elbow as you can. Move the hips back, come high onto the toes, and whenever you're ready, lift the feet off the floor. So the knees are drawing into the side body. This is a very similar action that we did in that core sequence. If you'd like, here's Ekapada Kundanyasana. Extend the top leg back. We'll all meet in forward fold at the top of the mat. Other side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back. Lower down with strength. Inhale through upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, switch hop or lunge the right foot through the thumbs. Take your left foot, square it with the back edge of the mat. On the inhale, bring your arms up for warrior two. Work to square the hips with the long edge of the mat and gently guiding the right knee down the center of the right foot. Soften the shoulders. Think of lifting the inner left thigh up into the groin. Exhale, take the right forearm to the right thigh for extended side angle, or right hand to the floor on the outside edge of your right foot. Extend the left fingertips over your head, creating a diagonal line between the left wrist and the left ankle. Lift the inner left thigh muscle up into the groin. Try not to collapse into the hips. On the inhale, come back up into warrior two, and exhale for reverse warrior. Make sure you're still breathing deeply. Gas pedal the right foot. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale. Move the left hip back as you drop the right hand down onto the shin, foot, floor, or a block for triangle pose. Left fingertips extend up. Imagine internally rotating that back right leg. Create length through the spine, through the crown of the head. Inhale, bring your left hand to your left hip bone. Look down to the floor, and as you exhale, bend your right knee. Bring the right hand about a foot in front of your right foot as you lift the left leg up for Ardha Chandrasana. Option to have both hands on the floor here, or to keep your left hand on your left hip bone. We'll hold for one more breath. Look down to the floor. Inhale, bring the left hand down, and as you exhale, step the left foot behind the right foot so the legs are crisscrossed, and fold forward. As we squeeze the inner thighs, the adductors, this allows us to stretch the abductors on the outer thighs just a little bit more. Specifically, working a lot into the TFL here and the IT band and the buttocks. Inhale, lift that left leg up, and as you exhale, step the left leg halfway back, left toes about 45 degrees facing forward. Inhale, stretch up, square the hips to the top of the mat, and as you exhale for revolved triangle, bringing the left hand to the right shin, foot, or a block. As you stretch the right fingertips up to the sky, or bring the right hand to the small of the back. As best you can, square the hips and twist through the core, through the center line. Inhale, look to the floor, hands on either side of your feet. Exhale, step foot to foot. Squat down, bend the knees. And inhale, bring the hands to heart center as you lift the chest for chair. As you exhale, this time take the left elbow as far across the right knee as you can. So it's a similar action that we did in that child's pose. Either remain here or the left hand can come to the floor as the right fingertips stretch nice and high to the ceiling. Breathe into the upper back, remaining here, or again for those of you who want to, coming into Parsvabhakasana. Come high onto the toes and then eventually lifting the feet off the floor. For Ekapada Kundanyasana, the top leg goes back. The bottom leg stretches forward. Work to straighten the right arm. Come out slowly if you can. That wasn't very graceful. And exhale, slowly fold in half. We'll all meet at the top of the mat. When you're ready, a great big inhale to stand tall. And exhale, bring the hands through heart center. Reset here. Vinyasa, inhale, stretch the hands high. Exhale, fold forward over the legs, tuck the chin. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back, strong plank as you lower. Inhale, shoulders down the back, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming through to a seated position, high onto the toes, bend the knees. Move the knees into the chest. We can do some frog jumps here. Notice how I'm drawing the knees into the chest. So you can either do a few frog jumps or, whenever you're ready, hop the hips high and work to float the knees through. Coming into a single leg forward fold, left leg straight, right foot into the left inner thigh. Inhale, lift the right hand high, and as you exhale, reach for the outside edge, if possible, of that right leg. Left leg. You could also use a strap here. With every inhale, creating length and space along the spine, and on your exhales, soften, moving deeper into the posture. Working into the revolved variation, taking the left forearm down onto the floor and the inside of the left shin. Alternately, you could have it up on a block. Stretch the right hand back to create length through the side body. I like to even feed that left rib cage through. And if possible, grabbing a hold of the left foot with the right hand. Inhale, come all the way up into a twist. As you exhale, hugging the right knee up into the chest, stretch the left arm past, keeping the left elbow bent. Option to straighten the left arm, standing on the left hand with the right foot. Work to lengthen the spine with the inhales and the exhales to gently twist. Look forward on the inhale, preparing for Ekapada Ardhanavasana, one-legged half boat. Lengthen the spine, find the sitting bones, stretch through the left leg, and when you're ready, exhale, straighten the right leg to join it, holding here. And then switching the legs around. This time, right leg goes straight, left knee opens up. Inhale, stretch the left hand nice and high, and as you exhale, slowly come forward. You can use the right hand for support to allow you to fold forward from the hips, creating some length out of the back. Take the right forearm on the inside of the right shin or down onto a block and inhale, stretch the left hand back. This is like extended side angle, only in the seated position. And as you exhale, stretch your left fingertips towards the top of the mat. Some people like to grab a hold of the right foot. If you're grabbing the right foot, maybe bend that right elbow and work to twist a little bit here. Alternately, you can bring that right hand behind the back as well. On the inhale, sit up nice and tall, crawling the left fingertips behind you. As you exhale, bend the left knee, bring it up into the chest. If that's too much for you, you can leave the left knee in its original position. Bend the right elbow and actively draw the right elbow into the outer left thigh. At the same time, you're grounding down through the left foot and active through the right leg. Inhale, come back up to the center, lift the right leg. And then exhale, maybe hover the left foot off the floor, either stay here or both feet off the floor. Come back in, inhale. Again, as you exhale, you can round and hold, or we can work on that press through. Either working on some of those frog hops, or alternately pressing up into a handstand, slowly making your way down, back into Navasana on your bum. Exhale, roll down. Find yourself lying on your back. Close your eyes here. Either hands to the floor or to the abdomen. Take some deep breaths. Finding a block and bringing the block underneath your pelvis and finding a wall so that your right foot can press into the wall in front of you as you draw your left knee into the center of the body. We're going to be releasing the psoas here, which, as we spend a lot of time collapsed forward and in seated positions, and the abdomen gets rigid, this muscle can get really shortened and bound up. Because this muscle shares similar and attachment site as well as fascial connections with the diaphragm, as we shorten and tighten this area, it also greatly affects the ability for our diaphragm to move fluidly. This not only affects the breath, which affects the parasympathetic nervous system, but it also affects digestion. So this stretch here, this release, is a crucial component to stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a very crucial component to the body's ability to detox. Which is interesting because a lot of the detoxes and cleanses that people do nowadays seem to stress the body a lot, which is actually contraindicated for the actual detoxification of the body. Here we're thinking of facilitating and supporting the body so it can do what it was designed to do on its own. We'll slowly release, adjusting the block if necessary and switching sides. Our body is such a miraculous thing, and it's often just even too complicated to even comprehend. In fact, often the more we learn about the body, we realize the less we really know about it. Empowered yoga is really about creating an empowered body, which means supporting the body in such a way that it can do the job that it was naturally built to do on its own. So as you're maintaining this stretch here, see if you can relax the back of the head into the floor, the back of the shoulders into the floor. Notice if there's anywhere where you're unnecessarily tensing your body, like your feet, your fingers, or your face. And with your next exhale, just see if you can maybe soften there. And some places aren't as easy to soften as others, and that's okay. Again, we don't want to force. See what happens if you really begin to deepen your breath. And then we'll slowly release. And getting rid of the block, this time coming into a low back twist. So if you have any issues with your SI joints or any low back pain, you might want to opt out of this one and either take an early Shavasana or do it supported, stacking one knee under the other or grabbing a block. Some people actually like to increase the amount of stretch here by wrapping the legs up. Ultimately, allow the feeling self, so those sensations you are feeling, to determine which variation you choose and what's appropriate for you. And we'll slowly release and come back to Shavasana. Bringing the right knee up into the chest this time, inhale, and then again exhale, twist. Often the collapsed posture that we find ourselves in over desks and constantly absorbing technology tightens the chest as well. So if you'd like, stretch the arm up over your head to get into the pectoral fibers, subclavius, and all that sticky area around the heart that tends to weigh down the chest and the lungs. This is where the heart and lung meridian is located in Chinese medicine as well. And we're stimulating the kidney and urinary bladder that runs along the back body. Slowly on the inhale, draw both knees back up into the chest, squeezing the knees down. And as you exhale, release your legs, lying on your back for your final resting pose. The goal of this final resting pose is to completely relax into that parasympathetic nervous state, which is the rest and digest cycle. It's the opposite of the sympathetic nervous state, which is the fight or flight. So in the sympathetic nervous cycle, the blood moves from the core of the body into the legs and the arms to either fight or run away. In the rest and digest cycle, the blood moves into the internal abdomen, the core of the body, so that the visceral organs can do their job of detoxification, repair, healing. And this works most optimally and most effectively if you allow yourself to completely and totally relax. Another optimal position for this would be legs up the wall pose. So your legs up the wall, your low back supported by a stack of blankets or a block. I recommend remaining in this final resting pose for 5 to 20 minutes, if possible. Eventually letting go of the control of your breath. But if you're finding it difficult to relax, you can try some deep diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, 6, 7, or 8. And then exhaling the same. Progressively scanning your body for any areas of remaining tension. And when you find areas of tension, try not to get frustrated. Just simply observe them. And as we noted in the beginning, sometimes as we observe things, they change on their own. If not, that's okay too. Sometimes our tension serves a purpose for us. It's not really our job in yoga to discern all that. For me, I find asana, this physical practice, simply a tool of discovery. It's very similar to a lab. Only instead of the discoveries being made via the thinking self that we would see from dissection models and anatomy textbooks, these discoveries are made via the feeling self, embodied anatomy. From the bottom of my heart to yours, thank you very much for inviting me into your home. I hope you enjoyed your practice today and that you wake up from this final Shavasana, this resting pose, feeling a little better than when you started. Namaste.